In a world full of headlines, some stories are too complex, too uncomfortable, or just too controversial to ignore. Welcome to Controversial Corner, where we uncover the truth behind the tension and dig into the debates that shape our world. Every story has more than one side. We're here to explore all of them. This is Controversial Corner, where truth isn't always comfortable, but it's necessary. Hit that subscribe button, and let's challenge the narrative together. Privilege isn't always loud. It doesn't always wear suits, carry flags, or announce itself in boardrooms. Sometimes it looks like walking through a store without being followed. Sometimes it's surviving a police encounter with your dignity intact. Sometimes it's just having clean water, a stable internet connection, or a passport that lets you travel without question. Privilege isn't the same as wealth, and it's not always about intent. It's often about unearned advantage. And when those advantages go unchecked, they quietly build walls that divide societies, deepen injustice, and leave those without them fighting invisible wars. Today on Controversial Corner, we uncover 10 deeply controversial moments in human privilege, revealing the often unseen scaffolding that holds up the lives of some, while others are expected to climb with bare hands. 1. Birth lottery, the geography of advantage. Where you're born might be the single greatest determinant of your opportunities, safety, and freedom. A child born in a stable country inherits healthcare, education, clean air, political rights. Another born across a border might inherit poverty, conflict, or displacement. Yet both made the same effort to exist, none. This geographic privilege forms the foundation of everything else: passport power, legal rights, infrastructure access, and peace. Is it fair that a line on a map decides your life trajectory before you can speak? 2. Economic privilege, the wealth cushion that buys more than comfort. Money doesn't just buy comfort, it buys second chances, better health outcomes, safer neighborhoods, and even legal leniency. Economic privilege means your mistakes are growth opportunities, not permanent scars. It's why two people committing the same crime can face entirely different consequences. It's how unpaid internships, Ivy League tuitions, and generational wealth stack the game before others even get a seat at the table. But when survival is a daily battle for some, and convenience a daily right for others, is it really a free market, or a locked system? 3. Racial privilege, when skin color changes the script. In many societies, skin tone doesn't just affect how you're seen, it determines how you're treated, judged, and policed. Racial privilege means moving through the world without having to prove your right to be there. It means getting the benefit of the doubt, being represented in media, and not having to explain or defend your cultural identity. This isn't about blame, it's about imbalance. When one group gets to be neutral while others are hyper-visible, stereotyped, or surveilled, we're not just talking history, we're watching present-day inequality play out in real time. 4. Legal privilege, justice for sale. The justice system claims to be blind, but privilege often peeks through the blindfold. Legal privilege isn't just about hiring expensive lawyers, it's about understanding how to navigate the system, afford bail, influence judges, or settle problems quietly. The poor get trials, the rich get settlements. From celebrity cases to corporate crimes, we've seen again and again that justice bends more for those with means. When law becomes flexible for some and rigid for others, can it still claim to serve fairness? 5. Gender privilege, unequal rules in the same game. Being born male in many parts of the world comes with invisible power, higher pay, safer streets, political representation, and assumed competence. Gender privilege often hides in boardroom dynamics, social expectations, and family inheritance. Meanwhile, women, trans, and non-binary individuals still fight for bodily autonomy, professional equality, and basic safety. The controversy lies not just in what one gender gets, but in what others are still denied, challenged on, or punished for claiming. 6. Educational privilege, when information becomes inheritance. Access to quality education shouldn't be a privilege. But globally, it is. From elite prep schools to well-funded public districts, from literacy to digital access, education is deeply stratified. A child born into a home with books, broadband, and educated parents receives a head start that others spend decades trying to catch up to. Degrees open doors, but for many, the door to the degree is locked. When intelligence is measured without accounting for access, merit becomes a myth. 7. Neurotypical privilege. Living in a world designed for your brain. Neurotypical individuals, those whose brains align with social norms, move through society without second thought. The world is built for their communication styles, their attention spans, their sensory needs. But those with ADHD, autism, anxiety, or cognitive differences are often labeled difficult, disruptive, or broken. Systems rarely adapt for them, they're expected to conform. When privilege means never needing an accommodation, never being misunderstood for how you think, what does that say about inclusion? 8. Able-bodied privilege. When access isn't even a thought. If you've never had to check if a building has a ramp, an elevator, or a working door button, you're living with able-bodied privilege. Accessibility remains an afterthought in many cities, and the burden of accommodation often falls on those who need it most. Whether it's jobs, transportation, or social spaces, the world isn't equally navigable for all bodies. And when a privilege is simply not being excluded, its absence becomes invisibility for those without it. 9. Language and accent privilege. Who gets to speak without bias? Speaking the dominant language fluently, without a foreign accent, often earns respect and legitimacy, while others are dismissed, mocked, or underestimated for how they speak, not what they say. Accent privilege shapes job interviews, classroom interactions, media representation, and social dynamics. Communication should be about connection, but in many cases, it becomes a gatekeeping tool wrapped in classism, xenophobia, and bias. 10. Social mobility privilege. The myth of the self-made success. We love stories of people who pulled themselves up by their bootstraps, but often ignore that many were born with boots, maps, and guides while others are barefoot on unfamiliar terrain. Social mobility privilege means you can fail safely, network naturally, and recover quickly. It's having parents who know which college to call, mentors who open doors, or unspoken norms that align with power. When we call success self-made without acknowledging starting lines, we celebrate the race but ignore the rigged track. Privilege doesn't mean you didn't work hard. It means there were battles you didn't have to fight, obstacles you didn't have to see, and doors that opened without resistance. The danger isn't in having privilege. It's in pretending you don't. True equality doesn't require guilt, it demands awareness, humility, and action. Because when some people are drowning and others are complaining about the rain, we're not in the same storm, we're just on the same planet, living very different forecasts. This has been Controversial Corner, where we peel back comfort and shine light on what's often ignored. If this made you reflect, subscribe, hit that bell, and drop a comment. What privilege have you only recently become aware of? Let's talk, not to judge, but to learn. Thank you for watching. If you found this documentary insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content on technology, business, lifestyle, health, society, and global issues. What are your thoughts on these controversial moments? Let us know in the comments below. Stay tuned, and we'll see you in the next video.